Is an 11,000 square foot property, and late tonight we saw agents walking out of this house carrying a cardboard box as well as several bags from the second story of the property out here. They were processing the scene there and could be seen taking notes on a table there.
When you look at Floyd Mayweather, it was like, bro, did you budget? Yeah, you got big injections, but the big payments also went out. Why you got so many?
Yeah, so many of
like I'm talking about from money, cars, clothes.
Yeah, you know where
and the things that's next to the road.
Yeah.
But everybody got a ticket.
Some might say he's not going broke, he just wants to push off paying back the IRS, but I think this next document is a smoking gun. This is the collection appeal request Floyd sent to the IRS on why he couldn't pay. The explanation he sent was, need more time to gather the funds to pay in full. This is the IRS about to start seizing his assets. This isn't a personal loan. Why in the world, if he's made hundreds of millions of dollars, why doesn't he just pay the couple $1,000,000 so he can get the IRS off his back?
Floyd Mayweather is once again facing intense scrutiny over his financial situation, with reports raising serious questions about his taxes, debts, luxury lifestyle, properties, cars, watches, and the enormous amount of money required.
Nice little car back there. We're gonna take that car.
Required to maintain his image as Money Mayweather. Recent reports claim that agents were seen leaving one of his large properties carrying boxes and bags while processing the scene, adding another layer of mystery to the situation. At the center of the controversy is reportedly a $7.3 million tax lien involving unpaid federal taxes connected to previous years. According to reports, Mayweather submitted a collection appeal request to the IRS explaining that he needed more time to gather the funds required to pay the balance in full. That detail has sparked a major question. If Floyd Mayweather earned hundreds of millions of dollars throughout his legendary boxing career, why would he need additional time to settle a tax bill worth several $1,000,000? Mayweather built one of the most...
The $1 million garage.
I know we're on television, Floyd, but I think it's necessary for me to say, damn.
Well, you know, we are on ESPN. These are sports cars. This is a sports network. This car costs $3.2 million. This Bugatti right here costs $1.6 million. You ain't seen these toys.
I haven't seen these?
No.
What? Floyd, this is 7 cars, man. Silver, platinum, Miami, black LA, white Vegas.
Yeah, in New York, I got my drivers.
And you got your drivers in New York?
Yeah.
Why? Talk to me about why you make the decision to drive different colored cars in respective cities.
Spoiled brat.
Oh, just being a brat?
Just being a brat.
The 7 cars that you showed me are in excess of 15 to 20 million.
Most profitable careers in combat sports history, earning massive purses from pay-per-view events, blockbuster fights, endorsements, business ventures, real estate, and international exhibitions. Yet his financial story has become increasingly complicated, especially when compared with the extravagant lifestyle he continues to display. During a tour of his Las Vegas mansion with Stephen A. Smith, Mayweather showed off a property designed around luxury and excess, featuring an indoor pool.
Oh Lord, this is your closet?
Yeah.
I see the Money Team hats, along with various others.
Yeah.
Do you even know how many outfits you have?
I wear the same clothes, but I got a ton of clothes, but
You're not overly concerned about clothes. I mean, you're gonna be suited down when you need to be suited and booted for the most part.
But today, I got on this today. Today's
I'm
a
not
chill.
talking about today.
Oh, today's just a chill day. It's
Yes.
like, you know what I'm saying? Today is like, okay, I ain't really got nothing, but you know what I'm saying? I do got a Patek Philippe on my wrist.
Okay.
I think this watch probably costs $100,000 with no diamonds.
Let's move on.
Spa, marble interiors, multiple elevators, expensive artwork, designer clothing, luxury handbags, watches, jewelry, and an enormous collection of exotic automobiles. His garage alone became a symbol of his wealth, containing Rolls-Royces, Ferraris, Bentleys, Bugattis, and other high-end vehicles, with some individual cars reportedly worth millions of dollars. Mayweather even explained that he keeps different colored luxury cars in different cities, allowing his vehicles to match his lifestyle and location. 7 of the cars shown during the tour were estimated to be worth more than $15 million to $20 million combined, illustrating just how expensive his collection has become. His mansion was equally extravagant, filled with designer clothing, Louboutin shoes, Birkin bags, luxury watches, jewelry, and other high-value.
Throwing money, yeah.
Throwing hundreds in the camera. See, when you depict that type of lifestyle, brother, it just gives people the thought to say, man, must be nice.
Must be nice.
But what it'll be a thing if that runs out. Now, when you're writing bad checks and you're portraying this lavish lifestyle from private jets, PJs, and one of the most dumbest things that I seen, but I admired it. I was like, yo, you know what car or what area Floyd was in because of the color of his car. Did you ever peep that, Peggy?
What color was
See,
his
all
car?
his cars was either white or black, depending on where it was. In Vegas, all his cars were a certain color. In Miami, all his cars were a certain color. The same fleet that we need to start getting them receipts and taking it back to the people to say, hey, I got 16 Rolls Royces. I got the 06, 07, 08, 09, 010, 011, 012.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the same car. Why would you
do
do
you
that?
need that?
Anybody who knows luxury, brother, could tell you that's the price of playing luxury. Because how many versions of the Range Rover have you really seen?
Value possessions. Mayweather has always been known for displaying wealth, throwing money into the air, showcasing expensive cars, wearing million-dollar watches, and surrounding himself with symbols of financial success. But critics now argue that maintaining this image may come at an enormous cost. Reports have claimed that Mayweather has faced unpaid.
It's like, wow.
And a lot of people think he got it, including the IRS, because he nearly owes them $7.3 million in a federal tax lien. So it's like he had it for you to owe $7.3 million. You had to have it.
That means you in taxes.
In taxes.
We was looking at them checks.
Yeah, we was. We was.
I mean, he went from Pretty Boy Floyd, Money Mayweather, to Mr. Pay-Per-View.
Okay.
Because when you look at the reports of all the top grossing pay-per-view participants in the history of pay-per-view, he on there.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
In that Mount Rushmore.
So I'm trying to tell you, it's not even a trick. But how did you fumble?
Ran allegations, lawsuits involving private jet services, property-related debts, foreclosure concerns, unpaid taxes, and other financial disputes. There have also been reports that he sold his private jet and several major properties, including homes in Miami and Beverly Hills, while other assets were reportedly used as collateral for financing. 2 Trump Las Vegas condominium.
Further down, he mentions that people have tried to take advantage of Jonah by bringing lawsuits against him as a way to extort him. And finally, Floyd writes, I appreciate you taking the time to read this letter, Your Honor. I would just ask that you consider my personal testimony that Jonah Recknitz is a good person. He claimed that he didn't know about Jonah's past in the complaint, yet he wrote that letter in support of Jonah, showing he clearly knew about the litigation in New York. So it doesn't seem to add up. Many have speculated that Mayweather is coming out of retirement for a rematch with Pacquiao because he needs the money. Yes, this is why. Around August 2025, Floyd needed cash money, so he decided to start pawning his jewelry. Here's a text on August 25th, 2025 of Jonas sending Floyd an image of his watch and the word loan below. That represents that watch as being within the group that was being pawned. Here's the second image sent on that day. The top image is a collection of watches that were grouped together for a November loan and that many had been returned after the balance was paid down. Here's the next message of another collection of watches that were used for a loan. The image on the left is an exhibit Floyd included in the complaint. Within this list are 4 of the watches you see in the text message on the right that were included in the group of watches that were pawned. This indicates he continues to lie about not knowing that his watches were getting pawned for a loan to fund his lifestyle. What was told to me is that Floyd was running out of money. Now, obviously, his broke is a lot different than broke for me and you. but at this time he needed money, so he decided to pawn $13 million from his watch collection. He does have his own jet and has flown private for a couple decades, and he has an extensive exotic car collection. But what has been shared with me is that his lifestyle is so expensive that he constantly needs to take out loans against all his assets.
Were also reportedly affected by unpaid property taxes before the taxes were settled and the properties were returned. None of these developments automatically mean Mayweather is financially broke, but they do demonstrate why his financial management has become a major topic of discussion. Some commentators argue that his situation is not necessarily about being unable to afford anything, but rather about cash flow, taxes, debt obligations, investments, and the enormous expenses associated with maintaining a billionaire-style lifestyle. One of the most...
Back in March, so around 7 months after he began pawning, he texted his pawn shop lender asking about the balance he owes so Jonah knows what the number is. Jonah, as Floyd's manager and the one who handles all the financial transactions, is the one who ensures that all the loans are paid off. The lender responds $1.85 million in checks, $10.8 million in jewelry, and $1.47 million in fees, and he mentions needing another $360,000 by Friday so the fees don't keep adding up. Floyd received the $13 million for pawning watches in his supposed $100 million watch collection. Jonah shared with me that people pay up to 3% per month, which is why the fees were so high. That loan was almost paid in full. If you reread Joel's message, it makes sense. Joel says, I have recouped everything and hasn't had to sell any pieces. All that remains is another $360,000 so Floyd doesn't have to pay any more fees. In case you aren't following, Joel can sell the watches that were pawned if Floyd doesn't pay the $13 million back. But he didn't need to sell watches because he was paid back and made $1.5 million in fees. In the complaint, Floyd discusses pawning his $100 million jewelry collection with the words, to be pledged or placed in the possession of Joel, a Miami jewelry dealer. The amount received was around $13 million. A substantial portion of the pledged jewelry remains in the possession of Joel and Modi, and no accounting has been provided to Mr. Mayweather.
Most controversial claims involves his luxury watch collection. Spencer Cornelia has discussed allegations that Mayweather used expensive watches and jewelry as collateral for loans. According to claims surrounding messages and financial documents, watches from Mayweather's collection were allegedly grouped together as collateral for loans, with some pieces later being returned after balances were reduced or paid. Another allegation claimed that approximately $13 million worth of watches were pledged to generate cash. The important distinction is that using valuable assets as collateral does not necessarily mean someone is broke. Wealthy individuals frequently leverage assets to obtain liquidity. However, if someone repeatedly borrows against luxury assets to cover expenses, it can raise questions about cash flow and financial strategy. Reports surrounding the alleged jewelry loan described millions of dollars in jewelry, loan repayments, and substantial fees, with claims that the cost of borrowing could reach several percent per month. That would make carrying a large balance extremely expensive. Mayweather has reportedly described his jewelry collection as being worth around $100 million, meaning that even a relatively small percentage of the collection could provide significant liquidity when pledged as collateral. This is where the broader debate becomes interesting. The issue may not be whether Floyd has valuable assets, but whether enough of those assets are liquid, debt-free, and capable of generating sustainable income without being repeated.
But Floyd's return on investment is going to be here, but I'll just throw my guess out there for fun. I don't think it's going to be anywhere close to the 18% that 601 was claiming on their website. I think his return is going to look a little bit more like if he were to put his money into a REIT. Like for a simple example, if we look at Realty Income Corp, this is one of the most popular REITs around. They hold over 15,000 commercial properties in their portfolio, spread out over 90 different industries, and these guys pay a monthly dividend of about 5.5% if you invest your money with them. I'm sure 601 is giving Floyd a better return on his investment than Realty Income would give you or I, but it's generally the same concept as what I'm thinking, which means that if you put $100 million into this fund, he's probably making something like $600,000 per month on his investment. Next story. This one is definitely a change of pace. Floyd has now decided to invest a chunk of his money in the famous Versace mansion in Miami Beach.
Liquid, debt-free, and capable of generating sustainable income without being repeatedly leveraged. Mayweather's history with taxes also adds context. Back in 2017, reports circulated that he faced more than $30 million in unpaid taxes, and his eventual return to the ring against Conor McGregor became part of the conversation surrounding his financial obligations. McGregor famously mocked Mayweather during the build-up, suggesting that Floyd needed the fight financially. At the time, Mayweather had already generated enormous wealth, and Forbes had estimated his career earnings at roughly $700 million by 2016. Since then, his total career income has reportedly grown dramatically, with massive exhibition purses and business investments adding even more money to his fortune. That makes the current financial questions even more surprising. Earning hundreds of millions or even more than $1 billion over a lifetime does not guarantee financial security if spending, taxes, investments, debt, and asset management are poorly structured. A fortune can look enormous on paper, while cash flow remains complicated. Mayweather has also invested heavily in real estate, including reported large-scale rental property investments, and he recently became involved with the famous Versace mansion in Miami Beach. The property is not simply another private mansion. It operates as a luxury hospitality destination, which means the investment could potentially generate revenue while also functioning as a prestigious trophy.
Why the heck did Floyd Mayweather want to buy a piece of this place? Well, apparently he's partnering with the current owners, the Nikesh family, and someone else named Eli Gindi to acquire a large stake in the home. He's taken the majority of Gindi's interest for an undisclosed price, and all Floyd had to say about this deal is that he feels blessed to be a part of such an important piece of real estate. Since we have basically no context on his motives here, I'm just gonna do my best to put my spin on why he probably made this move. First, this home will probably spit off some cash flow for him because it is functioning like a hotel at this point, so he's kind of buying into a hotel with this one. Plus, the fact that it's the Versace mansion tells us that it will probably continue to appreciate pretty good over time. Second, this is just one of those trophy properties. Like, this is the type of house that you buy to have in your portfolio just because it makes you feel good and it gives you kind of something to brag about. And last, I don't really know anything about fashion, obviously, but Floyd wears a lot of fancy clothes. Some of those clothes are probably Versace clothes.
Asset. Mayweather reportedly partnered with the Nikesh family and Eli Gindi to acquire a significant interest in the iconic property. From an investment perspective, the move could make sense if the property continues generating strong hospitality income and appreciates over time. It also fits Mayweather's long-standing preference for luxury brands, high-profile real estate, designer fashion, and trophy assets. However, critics question whether purchasing prestigious properties while dealing with reported tax obligations and other financial disputes is the best financial strategy.
Floyd was landing on him pretty continuously, but Logan was much bigger. And then after the fight, Floyd had said explicitly, I'm not really going to do, I need to know what my limits are here. I'm not really going to go back to doing professional stuff, because during that week he was like, oh, I'd fight McGregor again and blah, blah, blah. He kept doing the exhibition thing. Well, now he's going back to the professional side. So let's talk about it. Why is this fight happening? I actually feel like the explanation is basically threefold, with some of that being really kind of sad.
The contrast between Mayweather's public image and the reports surrounding his finances has become impossible to ignore. On one side, there are luxury cars, private jets, watches, mansions, jewelry, designer clothing, real estate, and enormous displays of wealth. On the other side, there are reports of tax liens, lawsuits, loans, property disputes, and assets allegedly being used as collateral. This contrast has fueled speculation about whether Mayweather's famous money persona reflects his actual financial position or simply the lifestyle he continues to maintain. Another major rumor involves a possible rematch with Manny Pacquiao. The two boxing legends have been linked to a rematch for years, and any official announcement would likely generate enormous attention and potentially another massive payday. However, until the fight is formally confirmed, claims about Mayweather's motivation remain speculation. Some commentators believe another Pacquiao fight could be driven by nostalgia, entertainment, and the opportunity.
I mean, the reporting on Floyd recently has been pretty unambiguous. He is in a lot of debt, and despite the fact that he made over $1 billion during the course of his career, and by the way, did that without sponsors, by and large, without sponsors, is a remarkable achievement. I don't know what he's done with his money, but he doesn't have much more of it. He's now literally doing, I've seen liquor sales, and he's a known teetotaler, which is kind of a strange turn unless you recognize the guy has money issues. The same is true for Pacquiao. Pacquiao had money issues during the latter portion, frankly, of his active run, where he had tax problems, and so where he was competing was at certain points he would go to places that had like low tax thresholds just so he could hold on to more of his purse. So his situation is certainly one of these as well. These guys need money, and I don't know what the purse is going to be for Netflix. I suspect it will be substantial, but let's just be honest about it. Reason number one, they're broke. Reason number two, to me, I don't have much to say on this because I have not figured it out, but there's just a lot of nostalgia